Well, just got out to hunt land. Just gonna do a quick little walk around, put up a camera, check some of the food plots that Kurt came down and sprayed a couple weeks ago. Just kind of see how dead they are. Plan is to come down next weekend to work them up, then plant some of the other ones. So just gonna take a quick little walk around, see how everything looks, and yeah, it's a little hot out, so I got my Gatorade, keep me hydrated. Got the 10 mil just in case, but hopefully we don't see anything. But yeah, let's get to it. Yeah, so come up to our first field, fruit plot, put up a old blind here last year that was on the property before. We're hoping to build a little better permanent one this year, but we'll see what time kind of runs. Everything's pretty tall in it. You go down that trail to Brenda's stand, her stand and food plot, which we'll touch back to a little bit later. Yeah, this is for real tall. Bow season, we'll put a ground blind just over on the other side of that point, and they'll sit there. And then the permanent stand just back there on that platform. Kyle shot 2 does out of here, I think it was 2 years ago during muzzleloader, right back in that corner. That I think Brenda shot a buck out of here too. I think that was 2 years ago, the crossbow, I think. Yeah, so we'll just kind of keep walking. If we follow this trail, it brings us to Kirk's stand. So I know he sprayed that a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and then did some mowing here last year that you can see from the stand, another little shooting area. Just because before it was so thick, we were pretty sure we were kind of missing deer cutting through here between this stand and Kirk's, because you can't see from Kirk's at all this way. Just so thick and overgrown. It just doesn't seem too wet back here. A couple years ago, this was all underwater, this area. But a little bit better right now. Kirk stand. Not bad. They're just really just plywood boxes on a frame, a little bit of insulation in them. Yeah, I think the plan is to mow and then till this all up. And Kirk wants to plant something in here next year, or next weekend. Yeah, it's not a very wide shooting area. It's just long. I think he says it's like 200 some yards long. Little trail. So yeah, we're just gonna walk back through here. Seen quite a bit of deer through here during muzzleloader I did. I shot a buck down this. Then Andrew shot a buck down here, and I think Kirk shot another buck all down this one stretch. So it produces. The only thing is you got to be on top of your game, paying attention, because they step out a couple steps, they're through. That's the only downfall about this little section. But it seems to produce. But yeah, just through the trees through there, there's a cornfield this year. And through all those, that way, it wood, a little bit of swamps, but then it goes to another field. I'm not sure what that has this year. I haven't drove by it yet. So I'll probably drive by that when we're done. Some deer tracks. But I know last year we had timber wolves come through here. Nice. Saw some big paw prints in the mud that were not complete size of my hand, but they filled up a good chunk of my hand in comparison. Yep, so then there's cornfield that way. And if you go down there, we got Devon stand. If you go past that, it brings you to a field where we have a hang-on stand for bow hunting. Andrew's uncle shot a real nice buck down there last year. That's another stand you gotta be quick about. Then it tees off one way, and then it goes back into a swamp where we got another hang-on stand. I think right now we got 3 hang-on stands on the property for bow hunting, and then a bunch of enclosed stands for rifle muzzleloader. But they are big enough where you can bow hunt out of, which is very nice on those really cold days. But it does kind of limit your shots, the ease of moving around to take a shot in them. Another nice clearing back here. Looks like a little used game trail through here and out through there, but not heavy at all. Yeah, so hoping to put a camera out to get some pictures, maybe just kind of see what's out here, if there is anything. We'll see once I get it put up. I'm running a Moultrie Series X cell cam. Service out here is kind of sparse, so trying to find a spot to put it in is tricky. And this is Andrew's food plots with his stand back there. And we really got to get in here and mow this. We had clover in it last year. Doesn't look like a lot of sign in here at all. I think if anything, I might try and find a crossing area for deer will come in and out of and put the camera up there. Yeah, there really isn't a whole lot here. But yeah, it's like, I think it's 70 yards from the stand to the end. So almost the whole thing's doable with the bow. If you're comfortable taking 70-yard shots, it's easily doable. Yeah, we're gonna get a camera probably put up if I can find a little more sign somewhere. I might put it up at that intersection. It seems we get a lot of deer crossing in there. Or I'll go put it up in Brenda's food plot. Seem to get a lot of deer in there too, but I know I think they sprayed it, so probably not going to be a whole lot of movement. So thinking just a crossing is going to be our best bet. Yeah, so just walked down to Andrew's stand, as you saw. Ended up putting a camera up at this little crossroads. It's a little intersection from Kirk's stand that way, Andrew's, Devin's down that trail, and then just in front of me it's a trail from the big field that has a bunch of corn. Little game trail coming through there, so figured it might be a pretty good spot to just see what's passing through, get an idea for what's out there. So now I'm just gonna walk back and then whip over to Brenda's stand real quick, just see how her food plot looks like probably. And then hop in the truck, go see what's in the big field that Kirk and them own that they rent out. And then we'll go from there, probably head home and relax for the rest of the night until we gotta work tomorrow. Kirk stand again. Man, is she toasty out today. Yeah, we're gonna have to come through and we're down here next week and the weekend after and mow all these trails. Because they are overgrown. But still not horrible walking. At least the main area where they drive is pretty much all dead. Something I know Andrew and I keep talking about with how warm the beginning of duck season is. I think we're gonna try and hit bow hunting pretty hard early, get our deer out of the way, and maybe skip rifle season, but we'll see. Or skip a little bit of deer season and do some duck hunting, and then when it cools down, when that northern flight comes. But we'll see. See what the weather kind of looks like closer by and what we have for deer on camera. So we have a bunch of nice bucks down here. I think we're all gonna try and get that in early. Kirk, Andrew, myself, and then Brenda, if she decides to come down with the crossbow. But who knows? Maybe duck season will be cold at the beginning of the season. As long as it's not like last year where it was 70s and hot. But luckily we got lucky. We could drive pretty much to our spot for the most part. Last year. yeah, I'm just gonna walk on down to Brenda's stand and food plot, just see what that looks like. How overturned or dead it is before we come down next weekend again. Hopefully it's pretty dead. The one thing, knock on wood, which I'll find a tree soon. So right now there's not a lot of mosquitoes. So knock on wood that it stays this way for when we're down here working the next 2 weeks. Got a lot of stuff to do. And we can start getting pretty sparse in between fishing, working on land, family reunions, just different things. It just goes by so fast. Yeah, it's not too bad. They keep the trails pretty clean and clear for us walking around. That's the one thing. It seems like Brenda's food plot in this area always seems to hold so many deer out here. I sat in this during muzzleloader one of the last couple days. I think I counted 22 or 23 deer all in a couple minute span, sitting in the stand between the field and this trail we just walked down. Yeah, I had like 5, 6 out front of the field, and all of a sudden there was just a shit ton coming down that trail. Yeah, there's all sorts of trails through there. Stands back there. Yeah, Brenda's field looks really good. This one will turn up real nice next weekend. We had like radishes and turnips and that in here. Then we put one of those deer cocaine blocks out here last year to see if it would work. And here's where we had it. It has been getting hit hard, it seems. And that's about a year's worth, not even. So, yeah, there just seems to always be deer in here. So, maybe when we come out next week, we have to bring out a couple more cameras, spread them out a little. Definitely should try and put one in here. And back that way, there's another little opening. And then it goes out to the big field where we got another stand. I know we're going to rip up that opening some and do a little food plot back there as well. Maybe put like a blind or a stand or something back there. Maybe, I'm not sure exactly what Kirk and them are thinking. Yeah, it's definitely hot walking through here, but the shady areas are pretty nice. Shout out to Scree. Bought this shirt when we were up at Total Archery Challenge in South Dakota. And man, is it nice. Super breathable. Keeps them pretty cool. It's that like mesh fabric, so it lets a lot of that air in. Any little breeze or walk, and it cools down pretty quick. Really, when you're standing still, it gets hot. But it's like a light brown. Got the Scree hat on. Hopefully I'm saying it right. That's just what I've heard. But yeah, good company, it seems. Guy was super nice. Got the shirt, got the hat for free out at TAC. So might have to look at some of their actual hunting gear once it gets a little closer to season, check them out. So now we're just getting back to the yard. At least this is nice and mowed. Shout out to Brenda with her trimmer. A lot better than some of the times I've came in here during the summer. Weeds up to my headlights and grass. But it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna get in the truck and go home. Go check out that field real quick too. Well, just got back to the truck after that little walk. About an hour or so total. But everything looks pretty good for what I saw. Mostly everything's pretty dead that they sprayed. So hopefully next weekend we'll get a lot done. Had a couple ticks, but a lot better than what I thought I was going to be out here. We're going to back on out and then go check that other field. See what they got planted in there just so I kind of know. But we'll catch you next time on Badger Boys TV. Probably be a deer camp work weekend video coming out. So see you next time.